And we have your most recent book here from our friends at Crossway. What does God have to? Because you even mentioned the title. What God has to say about our bodies? And I mentioned that because I'm also reading Who Does God Care? Why Does God Care Who I Sleep With? And so I've got that from our friends at the Good Book Publishing Company. And so I want to talk about this one though, because I think it is a very important item to have in our conversation. As you said before, there are so many things that are going on right now in our culture. It seems like every time I turn on the news, there is something LGBTQ related, and it's in the popular conversation. And there is a great deal of confusion in regards to sexuality. Why do you think our culture has shifted so quickly in moving from a biblical understanding of sexuality to a place where even those who would consider themselves evangelical Christians are embracing the idea of not only gay marriage, but homosexuality as an alternative practice that is completely okay in a certain confine? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much we were adhering to a biblical sexual ethic. I think we were in certain aspects, in that we had a definition of marriage that was heterosexual. I don't think in many other respects we were particularly wedded to a biblical worldview on that. But I think our anthropology changed. And, your previous guest, Carl Trueman, has traced this out so
brilliantly,
so well. I'm not going to attempt to do that. But we've increasingly used, ever since I think Therefore I Am, we've begun to train ourselves that the answer to the big questions of life begins with I. And I think that has snowballed its way down to the present day. And the big shift, as far as I can see, is that we got to the point where, in terms of our anthropology, I am who I feel myself to be deep down inside. That's the real me. That has been a shift. And that shift means that self-expression is the highest virtue. Accepting other people's identities and expressions is the obligation of the rest of society. And it means we have this view of identity where I am my sexuality, or I am a woman trapped in a man's body, or I am non-binary, or whatever it might be, because I call the shots. If this is who I feel myself to be, then that's who I am. That's the authority now, is my subjective experience of myself.
What then led to you writing this book? I mean, why this book? What God has to say about our bodies?
Yeah, well, having done lots of ministry around the issue of human sexuality, just realizing when it comes to confusion about sexuality, confusion about gender identity, confusion about who we are, we actually need to go upstream of all of those very sensitive discussions that are going on around us and think, well, what does the body mean? Because it seems to me that is the issue that feeds into all these other issues. We don't know. Contemporary culture does not know what the body is anymore. We don't have any shared understanding of a creator. Even previous generations, even if they were just nominal Christians, at least had a framework of God, whoever that was, made us. We don't have an origin story now, other than apparently the universe coughed itself up into existence and I'm here somehow. So we need something that shows. We just need to be reminded that we have intrinsic value and worth and meaning and dignity, and that our physicality is significant, it's meaningful. I was also just finding more and more pastoral issues within the church where, if people had a good foundation on what the Bible says about the body, that would help them pastorally with eating disorders, image of body, all kinds of other issues people were getting tangled up in. And obviously, looking over the fence, our Catholic friends have been far more attentive to a theology of the body than we've tended to be. And so I thought, okay, it would be good to do some teaching on what the Bible says about our bodies. And as I was teaching on it, I found lots of fruitful conversations coming out of that teaching, and that led me to write.